The sound-alike method, or the word substitution method, is a technique that will help you to remember difficult words in the English language or in a foreign language, words that you aren't familiar with. If you have trouble learning or remembering a difficult word or name, especially a foreign one, you can better remember if you use a substitute. The simple trick to memorize these unfamiliar words is to substitute familiar words that can be visualized in the place of words that can't be pictured. This technique is ideal for remembering either unfamiliar words in English or foreign words. For example, the Latin names and terms that you so frequently come across in subjects like biology, medical sciences, and law, the names of places you have to remember in geography, foreign language words, etc., do offer lots of difficulties when you try to memorize them. Why is it difficult to remember these strange words? The simple answer is because they do not have a meaning for your brain. When you read or hear the word corn, your mind creates the image of a corn. This mental image helps you in remembering the word without any difficulty. But in the case of an unknown word or a foreign language word, there is no previous mental image, so you have to decide what the image should look like. Before making mental images of the words to which you do not have a meaning, you should first create a sound-alike substitute for the word. For example, the Latin name of corn is Siamese. This name sounds like Siamese, and you can remember it by imagining two Siamese corn cobs. In this way, you will learn the new word by using your current existing knowledge as foundations. This is how to use the sound-alike method. When you hear or see a word or phrase that seems abstract or intangible to you, think of something, anything, that sounds like or reminds you of the abstract material and can be pictured in your mind. If the word you want to remember is a little longer, you may have to split it into two or more convenient parts, create sound-alikes to each part, and then associate the individual images. Let's view some applications of this technique. 1. How to remember definitions of unfamiliar words. The word belonophobia means an irrational fear of needles and pins, usually resulting in abnormal behavior and anxiety. The word comes from the Greek words belon, meaning needle, and phobia, meaning fear. For the word belon, we can easily find a sound-alike substitute in English, balloon. So the fear of needles, belonophobia, can be remembered by the sentence, "The balloon is afraid of needles." Similarly, the word claustrophobia, the fear of being enclosed in a small space, can be remembered by the sentence, "Santa Claus is afraid of tight chimneys." Number 2. How to learn new words from a foreign language. Learning the vocabulary of a foreign language can be fun if you apply your ability for creative word associations. If a new word resembles a word in your native language, create a mental image association between the native word and the new word. For example, the Spanish word onda means wave. You can associate it with a sound-alike Honda. Similarly, the French word trumpet means to cheat. You can associate it with the English word trumpet and a liar, Pinocchio. Here's another tip. It's not necessary for associations to include all the letters of the given word. It's enough to remember a beginning of words. Usually your brain will fill in the rest. The main applications of the sound-alike method are memorize English vocabulary, memorizing new definitions, memorize foreign language vocabulary, memorize botanical, zoological, or scientific names, or memorizing any abstract information.